Namo Myoho Renge Kyo. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your practice. Thank you for liking and subscribing. It's growing the Sangha. It makes us more accessible to more people. That's Bodhisattva work, yeah. So, I caught an episode of PBS Space Time. It's a popular science show about cosmology, physics, so on and so forth. Incredible host. He's wonderful at explaining things. But the title of this space-time show really caught my eye. Here's the title. Is action the most fundamental property in physics? Is action the most fundamental property in physics? Property. And, I've been delving into this new ebook that I put on the Threefold Lotus.com website, the 3,000 Realms, also available in print at the bookstore. And it's raised up a lot of, I keep telling you guys, 3,000 Realms is the piercing, fundamental, eye-opening, right? It certainly was Nichiren's motivation. Listen, our Gongyo, the second part of Gongyo, second and third, depending on how you divide the book, the Juryo chapter, the 16th chapter, it is the lifespan of the Tathagata chapter. It's all about the 3,000 realms in a single thought moment. And it's such a difficult concept to wrap our minds around. From that concept, from that idea, comes karma, engine plus action, energy plus action, energy plus work, energy plus agitation, anything that makes energy instantiate. Because energy is just energy. And we say it's quiescent. Nomina, nothing exists. But if you understand that, then, and I call it potential, it's anything can come from it. It's the source, energy. The moment any agitation occurs, it can only occur if some force is applied, action, then boom, we have karma. Because what is karma? It's energy forming. It's the formation. It's what we're totally focused about in Buddhism. But, we're human beings, so we need more words, please, because we don't understand. And many teachers, many Buddhists, many people who are trying to wrap their minds around this idea of action, they want to jump ahead and go, so Sylvain, when you talk about action formation, then form is the effect, right? Action, result, cause, effect. We immediately go down that path. And I have to correct you, that's samsara. That's your samsaric mind trying to individuate what isn't individuated. Cause and effect is like what I spoke of in the last video about the speed of light. What is light? Well, light is energy. And the speed of light has nothing to do with light. I keep using this oversimplified equation, but everybody knows it. E equals mc squared. What's the c? What's the c stand for? Oh, that's the speed of light. Energy, big E, equals, C equals cause effect. Mass times the speed of light. Well, it's not the speed of light. We need to correct all of the textbooks and all of the teachers because they're misleading everyone. Why is it a C? It's causation. E equals mc squared is a shorthand talking about the one-to-one relationship between energy and mass and the speed at which it occurs. What? Yeah. The speed of causation. You have to understand that time, space are not two different things. They're two different ways of measuring the same thing. Gosh, that hurts the brain, doesn't it? Ow, time. They're the same. What? Huh? It's because we have too many words. So here, I'm going to try to help visualize this, okay? Energy forming karma. Not form, forming karma. This energy forming happens at such, remember we were talking about moment to moment. How long is a moment? What is a moment? Speed of causation. If you can imagine one little energy, I don't care what unit you use, one little energy, the way the mind works, right? Perturbed, agitated, somehow affected by other energy, by a thought moment. What results from that karma is like the Big Bang, right? How did we talk about the universe in junior high and high school? The Big Bang. First, there was this incredibly tiny, and then all of a sudden, boom, something we can't even measure. Happened in an instant. Scientists today are working on a 0.0000000, how many zeros? 0.01 portion of a second, what is a arbitrary measure of time that we've given ourselves, of the Big Bang. I want you to just visualize this. That's the speed of cause and effect. That's the speed of causation, right? Hello, little spider. You don't belong on there. Go away. You're going to mess up my camera. Oh, well, I guess it's going to live there for a little while. Anyway, did you see how the terms got mixed up all of a sudden? What we seem to refuse to accept is that we have two words, cause, effect, like they're two distinct things. But cause and effect, ladies and gentlemen, is just like time, space. They're the same thing. They're the same thing viewed by a sentient mind in a different way, but there's the same thing. So This instantaneous avalanche of energies forming happens at a speed you can't imagine. You can't wrap your head around it. It's instantaneous for our purposes, certainly. For the human mind, the sentient mind, to experience, we can only experience it in big chunks of time. We can't experience it even with an electron microscope going. We can insert some kind of a small inserter into a cell, and we can see, and all of a sudden, bloop, stuff happens. The cause and effect is happening in each E equals MC squared of that moment. You see, the moments get smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. The cause / effect is built into the formation. By the time something is there, you missed it. It's already done. Already done. Action is actioning. Constantly. Right now. You and I are a product of that actioning right now. Cause and effect is another way of dissecting and measuring that process, which is, it's just happening. That is not an effect of that. The process is cause and effect. The process, what we're doing is applying language and words to something that's incredibly difficult to understand, and yet we witness it. The universe is expanding. Stars are forming. The earth is moving through a spiral arm of an immense galaxy. Through time-space, space-time, same thing. We're just identifying movement. Fundamentally, we're all just energy moving, momentum. Are we going anywhere? We're certainly moving. See, this is what our mind wrestles with. And then you're making a cause. What does that mean when somebody says that? Yeah, with every application of energy, action, my thoughts, my dreams, my arm reaching out to grab a cup of coffee, every time energy is manifesting as intent, as a thought, as a thing, moment to moment, happening, every action begets other actions. Not a reaction. We call it that. Humans call it that. We're labeling things because that's what we do. But really, think about it. What is a reaction? A reaction. It's just another action. We're establishing a relationship between this action and that action, but that's because we're looking at a 30,000 foot level. If you get down into the subatomic place, action doesn't care about distinct things. It's just being action. What's the cause and effect? Actioning. Everything else is a relative discussion for our minds to witness and apply what? Some kind of a judgment or valuation over it? We spend so much time doing that. That's what Shakyamuni's identified as the thing that causes us stress and anxiety. Just be amazed that it's happening. Cause and effect. Man has a lot of misleading information been based on those two words. Let's break it down, okay? Because I can hear some of you going, but, what if I say, boy, I want that guy to get hurt. I want him to experience harm. What's the effect going to be? It's already done. It's already done. You've taken an action in thought, word, or deed. You don't even have to say anything. You can just think. Ugh. Have you made a cause? What does that mean? You've tainted, you've influenced energy. How have you influenced energy? You've taken action. You've taken a focused action on the process of karma, energy with work, and you've given it a certain influence. And the moment you did that, you inculcated with it the effect. The effect isn't, if that guy gets hurt, you didn't do it. But you have added to the formation energy the potential, you've elevated the potential for action to manifest something negative. More than likely, it has nothing to do with the other person. It's about your experience of life that you're affecting. That's what we miss about this cause and effect thing. We keep saying this, that, like they're two different things. When you make a negative assertion in your mind, and I will just drop to the negative positive thing, the same thing, we're identifying the same thing. The action you've put into the formations is going to form. And if the action you're taking is not life-affirming, then what's going to form of it? It's already happening. You've made yourself feel bad. You've made yourself distracted, which is why you then hit your finger with a hammer or cut yourself with a knife as you're working on the vegetable and you're thinking about how you're going to get revenge or how you're going to do something that's going to harm somebody. And all of a sudden you're harmed. If you now say cause and effect, I will pardon you for that, because that's much closer to what's happening. Is this starting to make sense? Cause and effect are not two things. Cause and effect are the influence, the formations, the karmic engine of life. Right? Life is karma, because life is a result, a formation of energy, which is always under influence. Why is it under influence? Because we, with our sentient minds, even without sentient minds, things, animals, plants, are performing actions. And actions beget more actions. It's that simple. We can apply all sorts of language to those actions. We can say they happen in 300,000 units of measure per second. But I avoided saying miles or kilometers or anything, because when people read that equation, E equals MC squared, they want to put distance to it. Well, that's distance. That's a measure of distance. Why is it then not called the distance of light? What is speed? I'm going to come right back to it. Don't be amazed. We're measuring the same thing. We think of speed as time, but it isn't. It's space. Oh, but it isn't. It's how quickly space happens. What? Space, time are the same thing. Just like cause, effect, same thing. Everything is trying to describe with words or mathematics this moment when action begets action begets action begets action. It's explosive. It's happening so quickly we cannot measure it. We give it a theoretical measurement. Planck has his own measure. But it's happening. By the time you say the word happening, it's happened 100,000 times. It's the action at work, the formations at work, karma. All these words are describing the same cause, effect, cause, effect, cause, effect. Cause, effect is an identifier of how quickly things manifest from potential. I hope it's starting to make sense. I'm trying to resist not identifying all the things it is not. I have done a couple of times. But all that does is reinforce that duality. This, not that, that, not this. Cause, effect, they're not two different things. They're two different labels for the same thing. Action, work, karma. If you influence that freight train of energy, which we do with every thought moment, which is the teaching of the 3,000 realms in every single thought moment of life, we have choices. Here we go with more words. What avails to our sentient mind is that we can actually influence the way we swim within formations. We can influence the direction of our momentum. Can you begin to see how immense the word momentum is in this conversation? It's not one thing. We identify it with one word, but the momentum of karma is so vast. This is why we have to consistently practice, because we're consistently at work, whether we're conscious of it or not, on influencing this massive momentum of which each and every one of us is. This is why it's so important that we manifest our Buddha-ness, our clear, accurate, and life-affirming mind all the time, as much as possible, as many times as possible, so that we're nudging that huge momentum with an influence that is loving, life-affirming, embracing, mindful. We need to strengthen our Buddha-ness causality. Because with that causality effect, with that effect causality, with that momentum, that moment-to-moment influence on the formations what rises is the beauty, just like the lotus flower. And with each moment of that lotus blossoming, it plants seeds, doesn't it? What visual, what simile, what metaphor is that? When an action, cause, effect, momentum occurs, it influences the next moment, and the next moment, and the next moment. And that happens instantaneously, at the speed of causality. That's why the lotus is the ultimate teaching. That's why it's called the lotus. What is the lotus? Renge. Aha! Now I get it. It's what all of this is about. You want to live your life to the fullest without constantly being admired, because what's the one thing we haven't struck on here moment to moment is all that past stuff. Those anchors of thoughts, feelings, instantiations. That's over. There's no action happening there other than what you're committing to keeping it resuscitated. That's where suffering is. I'm talking about mental processes here. That's what Buddhism is about. Making this moment the most amazing moment isn't about this moment. It's about the causation for the next. The momentum. I hope that makes sense. This may spawn more questions than it answered. And if it did, please use the comments section or email me directly. This is such an important facet of our practice, and there's so much misunderstanding about it. Hey, I've been there. I'm not accusing anyone. I'm just saying that we need to wrap our heads around what it is to be truly alive now and into the next moment, the future experience of life. Truly living instead of maintaining our database and our warehouse of what we've identified. Sad. Okay, that's enough for this one. I want to get back to the book. All of this ties into the 3,000 realms in a single thought moment. That's what this is about. Thank you for listening. Please comment, subscribe. Give it a thumbs up, I hope. Most importantly, subscribe. Stick around. Interact. This is about your Buddhist practice. Creating the greatest amount of confidence and resolve so that every time you savor your instantiation of Buddhahood. Now I'm going to go off on a tangent because a lot of us were told by supposed teachers that the more daimoku you spit out, the better it is. If you don't understand what it is you're doing as you're chanting your daimoku, if you don't savor your enlightenment, what do you might as well be chanting peanut butter sandwich. We're wanting to open our Gohonzon of Buddha-ness. Namu Myoho Renge Kyo. And with every sound and vibration in our bodies, we understand the speed of causality. We understand the momentum, the vast momentum of energies that we ourselves are amalgams of, and within even greater mass, moment to moment. Namo Myoho Renge Kyo, savor it. My relationship with Buddha. Namo Myoho Renge Kyo. Remember what Nichiren said? Every time you chant the Daimoku, you are, in effect, singing the entire breath of the Lotus Sutra. Every single character, every single concept described, contained, explored within the Lotus Sutra, you are invoking with every single Daimoku. That's quite a mouthful. So yeah, take your time, enunciate, and mean it. Far more important than ticking off a clock and going, I did 100,000 today. I couldn't think of anything more samsara, more destructive to your practice than relegating it to a competition. What in the hell is that? And yet, people are taught this all the time. But do you see, as I deconstructed, how ridiculous it is? Take your time. Mean it. That will achieve results. Guaranteed. Nichiren says it. Tendai says it. We'll be reading about his whole idea of how we think about this. Tendai was the master at that. And Shakyamuni himself. So let's get back to it. Thanks once again for listening, for the patrons, of those of you who are supporting, making this channel solid to continue to grow. Take care of your health, okay? Practice every day. Make every moment of your day Namo Myoho Renge Kyo. Can you do that? You can. Okay. Be kind to yourself, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.
Living life every day, late at night, not okay. All I want, and I pray, all I need are some better days. Fuck me, I'm looking in the mirror, so foggy, but I've never seen clearer. I don't really think anyone can save me, and honestly I'm not really sure I want saving. I like to be my own worst enemy. There's no risk if you don't try at anything, so I'ma just keep buying everything. See you in the next life, hope to be a better me. I don't think that my head's on straight, gotta flip it and grip it and go and get an x-ray. What's wrong with me? I just feel weight pushing on my chest and it squeezes till I suffocate. Better change my mindset, meditate.